The here and now is the only thing that matters. So today, as a modern day alchemist, I'm going to explain this concept or this idea so that we can get a deeper understanding and know how you could take an idea and turn that into gold, be it a tenth of an ounce or a kilogram of gold. And you have got the ability to do so on condition that you let go of everything that you believe in and tap into becoming a modern day alchemist or a wealth creator where you can create, grow, protect, and enjoy your wealth. And wealth means simply well-being, if you look at the root word of wealth. So in essence, we were born to have a life of abundance, but this does not happen for most people. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Dreyer, and I'm a modern day alchemist where we can create and grow and protect our wealth and have the life of abundance. The topic today that we're going to look at is the here and now. Because we live in this three-dimensional world of depth, height, and width, we perceive this as our reality. But the truth is, as spiritual beings, in other words, on the quantum level, this is not how it works. So if we look at this plane that we're on, this dimension, then it's going to be impossible for the majority of people to be able to take an idea and turn it into their reality, into gold or whatever they want. We need to get to the quantum level or the spiritual level to be able to understand what is our true potential, because only we can unlock the true potential, and that is an inward journey. In other words, we must unlock it through having the skills. But we cannot acquire the skills unless we understand how it works. And that is the reason why I'd like to discuss this with you. So in this dimension, we've got the past, the present, and the future. But it's not true on a spiritual level because there's only the now and the here. There's nothing else. All of this is what's causing all the problems that we've got. Let me explain. Say, for example, you have got a bad experience that happened somewhere in your life. What we normally do in the third dimension, we take that bad experience, bring it into the present moment, and then we feel it in our body presently, right? We can feel. So the body is actually the subconscious mind or the soul. And that is what directs us to what we need to know and what we need to understand. The truth is, and you'll see after this lesson or during this lesson why I'm saying this, the truth is that you leave the now and the here to go to the there and the then. Therefore, you cannot be here and now. And that is what's causing the problem. So the universe shows you that there's a charge that does not serve you. So everything that happens in our lives, every thought that we've got, there's a positive and a negative charge. We call it polarity if you look at the hermetic laws, or the duality. So our job is to neutralize or to balance that. And we can only do that through mind power or through the higher faculties of the mind, the conscious mind. Because if that thing happened before we were 7, we don't even know that it exists. For example, if it happened when you were 6 months old or a year or even in the womb, you will not know most of the time that that thing happened, and that is a consequence of what and how we are reacting today. So we literally moved to the past, if we can call it the past, to the there and the then, instead of staying in the here and the now. But that thing did not happen just by accident. There's a lot of things that work together so that we can gain an experience, so that we can integrate that experience into who we are right now. So that thing is actually a good thing. Therefore, we have to change it. We have to change it from the bad into good so that we can collapse it. It does not become good. It's simply we collapse it, but we can't collapse it unless we see the good in the bad. Exactly the same thing happened with the good. If you achieve something great and you cling on to that, then you're going to bring that into your life and you're going to become that person instead of being a modern day alchemist where it's the here and now. So if you've got a fancy degree like an MBA or an engineer degree or a CA degree or a certified financial planner, or you're a plumber or a estate agent, whatever. The moment that you begin to relate to that greatness that you've achieved, you cannot grow as a wealth creator or a modern day alchemist. So you have to collapse that and get the negative in order to bring it into balance so that you can start planning on this, let's call it zero energy point. Now, what do I mean with the zero energy point? If you go to the formula for riches on page, I think it's page 130, you're going to find that I explain the formula. And that formula for riches starts with a symbol that we refer to as your intent. So what is the intent? The intent is basically a sine wave. So it's a sine wave, and it's the full sine wave from there to there. Now, if you flip that up, you're going to get the symbol for intent. But there's this line that goes through it. So if you look at that, you're going to find that this point touches this line, the zero energy point. This point touches it on the right-hand side, and this point touches it on the left-hand side, and this one on the left-hand side. Can you see where we are? Now, the moment that you bring that and you flip it up and you look like this, you're going to find there's a center right in the middle, and then an outer circle, zero energy point. Now, this represents then, in that symbol, it represents who you are. This represents where you are. So we can see there's actually 2 points where you are, the one on the left hand and the one on the right hand that touches that line or that point. And then this is where I want to be. Now, the moment that I am not where I want to be, it causes friction. It causes lack. If I want a Ferrari or I want an ounce of gold and I haven't got it, it means that there's a lack. But lack is a very low energetic vibration. So what we need to do, we need to find out what's the vibration so that we can get to that vibration. And only we can change it. This thing cannot change it. So our job is to take this energy and to incorporate that. And the moment that that happens, that thing becomes ours, or it is ours. But the truth is there's only a here and a now. That means that thing is already ours. But we don't see it in the third dimension the way that we experience it. But we can explain it. So this circle, I don't know if it's by accident or by design or by fluke or what, but if you look at this symbol from an alchemist point of view, you're going to find that this represents the zero energy point. But do you know that exactly the same symbol represents gold? Now, there's more than one symbol for gold because there are different stages that we have to go through. And maybe if you'd like to, I can take you through that process to show you the mind process behind it, how to manifest gold into our reality out of just an idea. So maybe in the comment section, you can let me know if that is something that you'd like. It will be like a seminar or a webinar or something like that, because it's going to be a little bit more intense. And I would like to get more inputs from your side. But this is the way basically that is going to operate. So for us, in order to get there, what I need to do is to take from who I am, and through a breakthrough or a quantum leap, I need to start shifting that, who I am, from who I am to where I am. That means where I am is going to be where I want to be. The moment that I achieve that, that becomes my reality. But to do this, I need to follow a strategy, because between where I am to where I want to be, I need to follow a strategy. And that strategy is not to do with the outer strategy, that is the inner strategy to understand myself and to understand the potential that I've already got. It is not something outside of me. So people sometimes come to me and say, "Honest, it's impossible." Let me explain. Say, for example, you buy a puzzle. The puzzle represents the goal. You buy the puzzle. It's your puzzle. Now, if you're going to buy a puzzle and someone has built it for you, there's no fun in that puzzle. If it's a big puzzle like a 5,000 or 10,000 or more pieces of puzzles that you have to put together in order to get the picture. But 99% of the time, they're going to give you the picture so that you've got something like a template that you can work towards to in order to help you, because otherwise it's going to be chaos. Now, check here. What do we do in normal life when you're on a Ferrari? You're going to work, get a paycheck, one paycheck, if it's big enough. You take that paycheck to the bank, and if you qualify, you can have a built Ferrari complete in that moment. But the problem is you did not earn the right to have that Ferrari. That is why you are lending that Ferrari. It's on a lease. It's on a hire purchase. It still belongs to the bank. It's not yours. But the universe is willing to give you that Ferrari, but it gives you in a million pieces. So the way that it works, because it's in the building of those pieces, it's in the building of the puzzle that we're going to tap into our emotions, our soul, our spirit, our thinking mind, and we're going to start putting these small things together in order to get one grand, massive, beautiful picture. I hope you see where I'm going with this. Now, if this is a big picture and it's a 20,000 piece puzzle, then in real life, you can break that down into smaller little pictures or smaller little puzzles. There's a sky, there's a tree, there's perhaps a line, there's a lot of grass, there's a river. And each and every one of them, if you focus on only that part, that is normally how I build a puzzle. I start with the outline and then start picking one, all the blues, try to put them together. So when you completed that, that is the experience that you're going to get in life from building that. But I think that you'll agree with me that that is going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of mind power. And unless you've got an unstoppable mindset, most people are going to give up, especially if it becomes a difficult puzzle. Now, if that puzzle is a great puzzle, unless you're going to have an unstoppable mindset and you understand that there's an inner as well as an outer journey and that you need both of these skill sets in order to complete this part, nothing is going to happen. But then you're going to build another part. But let's say we take that bad experience that you had many years ago and we take that as the mud around a beautiful dam. So when you just look at the mud, that is the bad experience. But when you look at the picture without that mud, if that part of the puzzle is not completed, you haven't got a complete and a beautiful puzzle. So that part in totality becomes a beautiful, beautiful scenery, or it's part of a beautiful scenery. And life works exactly that way. That is why it's our job to take that, what happened, and to be present in it at the moment. In other words, there's no separation. In the here and the now, that thing is part of us, and it's because of that thing that we are who we are right now. Isn't that incredible? But we don't want to see it, and other people don't want to see it that way, because then life is going to become simple, and we can have a life of abundance in the now and the here. My dad died when I was 7 years of age. At that point, my family and everyone told me about this poor guy, and remember, it's not your fault that your dad died, and all of that. And that became part of my identity. So through my school, that was one of the things that I've used in order to get sympathy from other people. But it was only about in 1982 when I realized that is nonsense. That is not the truth. Because I started looking at who I am. And if it's not because my dad died, I would never, ever be the person that I am right now. I would never be that person. So the positives of his death actually outweigh the negatives of his death. And it was only when I could bring that into calibration, that zero energy point, that I could fully understand that that experience that I had to go through and that he was willing to give me has caused me to become who I am today. And therefore that experience, that he's with me right now, here, within my cells. So 50% of my DNA is that of my dad. 50%. And I've ignored that up to the age of about 24 because I did not want to accept that because it hurt. It was only when I saw and I started to use my imagination and I started to use my rational and I started to change my perception that everything changes in my life. Because what if, let's use our imagination, what if we are energy and this energy is all around us forever and it will be forever? So what if we've made a pact And we made the agreement that he's going to live his life and he's going to do whatever he has to do and wants to do. But in the end, there's a lesson for me to learn. And that he's willing to give his life, because this is his physical life. It's not his spiritual life. Right? I know for some people, this is going to be crazy. But you're not going to be a wealth creator if you do not understand that everything is now and here. And this is just a story that I'm telling you. Don't believe it. Just go with the story, with the imagination. What if he made a pact and said, okay, Hannes, the experience that you want to learn is to discover who you are. You're not going to learn that unless I'm prepared to give my life for you. What if that is true? I'm not saying it's true, but what if? Can you see that now suddenly the price that he paid, the willingness that he's done in the physical life was so that I can become and be the person that I was meant to be. But in the physical life, I had to go through that experience. Now, because of that, I cannot thank him enough. I cannot bless him enough for giving me this immense opportunity to be who I am right here and right now. Are you with me? So what happened in the future? It's this puzzle. The moment that I've got this puzzle, this idea in my mind, it's mine. But now I have to put the small things together, the small puzzles. I have to work this out. I'm going to become frustrated. I'm going to become irritated. All of that are emotional feelings. And unless I know how to calibrate them, I'm not going to complete that puzzle. I'm not going to bring into the here and now my reality. But the reality is already mine because the puzzle is mine. All I have to do is to work through space-time in this third dimension and do the things that I need to do on a day-to-day basis, moment-to-moment basis. And then slowly but surely, this creation, this idea starts to manifest. And guess what? It starts to manifest as my life, as a golden coin, as a house, as a helicopter, or as a beautiful human being. Isn't that what it's all about? I've just touched on this. And please do not believe a word that I'm saying. It's just an expression to try to show you what it means to become a wealth creator, that it's not about the past. It's not about the future. It's about the here and now. There is no past. There is no future. Everything is about the here and the now. But the here and the now moves through time. Space moves through time. And unless we get the learning experience from that and collapse that so that it becomes us, and so that we can rejoice in that experience, in the growth. If we cannot rejoice in that, that thing is going to take us from the present to the past, or from the present to the future. And then we cannot create, because we are creators. But you can only create in the here and the now. You cannot create in the future. You cannot create in the past. It's the here and now. But guess what? You cannot grow in the future. You cannot grow in the past. You can only grow now by putting the puzzle together. You cannot enjoy the process in the future. You cannot enjoy the process in the past. You can only enjoy the process by feeling the emotions and getting the joy when you see this puzzle is coming together. It increases your happiness levels, my friend. It's an amazing life that we've got. It is an incredible life that we've been given. But we don't understand who we are. I am. Am is a verb for to be. We don't know who we are because we listen to other people and say, okay, blah, blah, blah. And they use that in order to manipulate us through fear or through greed. The moment that you know that everything is yours, there is no lack. There cannot be lack. There is no emotions that well up, but things are limited. I'm not good enough. All of that nonsense, all of that fear, all of that grief, all of that greed, all of that shame, everything that you've got starts to neutralize, because everyone has got shame in there. But it's only when you neutralize the shame that you understand that it's actually an incredible thing that happens in our lives. And that we needed that at that moment in our time to learn certain things. And we bring that into our present right now. Because, my friend, there's only the now and the here. Everything that you want is in the now and the here. Therefore, there is no lack. When I say to people, a wealth creator is a person that knows how to live a life of abundance, I really mean it. It's not blah, blah, blah words, because I'm experiencing it. And this is what I want from you. But it's going to take responsibility. It's going to take effort. It's going to take time. But each and every time that you do something, you add into your puzzle to build this incredible, incredible picture of good and bad, what other people will say. But when you look at the totality, you're going to say, it's a perfect picture. It's my picture. It's my life. It's my journey. So in the comments, give me your comments. Good or bad? There's no good or bad, the way that you perceive it. But then I'd like you to do, if I can give you a little task. The task is very simple. I want you to go back to something bad that happened in your life. You don't need to pick the baddest thing that happened. Just pick something that you did not like. It can be anything. And then I want you to start thinking, but what is the good? And because of that, who are you today? And use your perception in your imagination to say, okay, but if there's something good that has come from that, what would it be? Now, my legacy mastermind students in the power morphing, I'm saying you have to give 250 because that reasons why that bad is actually good. So you have to convert it because sometimes we need more than one reinforcement to understand that it is actually neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, because as many bad things happen, there's also the good things in that. And the moment that you get just one, you understand the process. But then I also want you to go back and say, okay, but what is a good thing that happened? And then I want you to do the reverse and say, okay, but how does that thing that happened in my life, how is that thing busy keeping me away from achieving my goals and being the person that I need to be, that I am? Because the moment that you understand that process, now you could do it in all places. And all you have to do is to collapse the energy so that you can tap into the source, the life force, the 0 point energy. The moment that you understand the zero energy point, you're going to see that as an alchemist, the symbol for gold, that at one stage, all the countries adopted that as a payment, as a form of currency, right? Everything related to that. Now, of course, they broke it because there's reasons why they wanted to do that. And maybe at a later stage, we're going to get into that. But why is that symbol and this symbol exactly the same symbol? Maybe there's a lesson for us in that. So I want to thank you for the opportunity that I can share this stuff with you. If it's weird, that's okay. If you do not believe me, that is fine. If you feel very strongly about negatively or positively what I've said, maybe that should be your next assignment to say why. Because that is going to be a reflection directly of the belief system, the current belief systems that you got. And it's those belief systems that may be holding you back to becoming the you that you were meant to be. And you are perfect. Thanks for your time. See you then in lesson 8.